any other time. So the skills for us to manage our working capital is much more required now than at any other time. So the technique should be applied in different items of working capital, like our cash. We have to be careful with cash. One of the biggest advice we have given to entrepreneurs is that don't keep your cash within the reach of where you spend it. Put it in your bank. Our debtors, let us have a good negotiation with them. Inventory, let us keep only those things that we can turn around quickly. Creditors, let us service them before it becomes embarrassing. And let us have very good time of trade. So cash planning, the pattern of cash inflow and outflow should be properly predicted in advance by preparing cash budgets. A lot of us don't prepare cash budgets, okay? But you see, you don't need any big knowledge to prepare your cash budget. All you just need is a piece of paper and a pen, and put on one side all the things that you require to spend cash on for this week. Say, okay, this week I'm going to spend cash on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. Put it down. On the other side of the book, put down, these are all the items I'm expecting cash to come from. Then put it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the preparation. You've started. So managing the cash flow should be accelerated, speeded up, while as far as possible the cash outflow is accelerated. So you don't pay more out than you receive. That is the trick. Don't pay more out than you receive. So when you pay out, you don't say, okay, I have to pay out everything, and you are not receiving everything, you will soon be cash dry. So you must also have what is the minimum optimum cash level that you have to, cash balance that you have to keep in your liquidity. So you must have that. This is an objective that is, though it is twin, but you must keep it. You will have understand your business to say, on a weekly basis, this is the amount of cash that I need to keep. On a monthly basis, this is the amount of cash that I need to keep. So averagely, you will know. Don't keep beyond that. Cash can be very tempting. And at this very important period, also be careful the amount of cash that you are going to put in the hands of shop assistants and people who will help you with your businesses. Because it will actually be complicating and very, very difficult. So you investing your cash surplus, always approach your bank. Approach your bank because they are knowledgeable about investment. Every investment that looks too full and too interesting for you out there, you might not understand the amount of risk that is involved. So talk to your bank, talk to Jaiz Bank, tell them you have this cash, tell them you want to invest it. They are investment managers. They are experts in the area of investment. They can tell you exactly what you need to do where you have cash surpluses. So next time I'm looking at step of working capital management 2, I'm talking about debt management. Now, one of the things we say now is that you have to be very careful how much of debt that you sell, how much of item that you sell on credit. You have to be careful. And also the people you sell to on credit, you must make sure they are people that you have known. You know them, you understand their credit profile, they are people that has good integrity. Now, so your collection debt on time is very, very important. Your ability to collect your debt on time is very, very important. You also need to set your credit limits. How much credit limit are you going to give? 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, and so on. What are you going to do? You have to set the limits. Be careful when you set long limits. The cost of collecting high limit of credit is more expensive than the fund. Discounting facility for early payments, if you have such policy, enforcing a clear credit policy, credit, this is the timing and this is what it requires for you to pay back. And considering debtors finance, can you have debtors finance if it is possible? Now, in inventory management, classification and codification of inventory becomes very important. Which are the kind of inventory you are keeping? Why are you keeping them? How do you need to dispose them? How fast are they in terms of moving? Are they inventories that you make a lot profit from, but they are slow moving? That could be dangerous at this time. Maintenance of inventory record is also very, very important. Please, don't say I have the record in my head. Put it down. No matter how poorly you write it, put it down. Put a record of your inventory. And do inventory check. Even if it is once in a month, do inventory check. If it is once in a quarter, do inventory check. Inventory check becomes very, very important because it gives you your ability to rotate your inventory and know how you want to dispose of your inventory. Control of the cycle of flow of your materials also is very important. If you are manufacturing your materials, what is the flow? What is the control? Which one comes in first and which one goes in last? How will you use them? So this becomes very important for you to make sure that you are not tying down your cash. Control of tools is also very, very important. Storeroom management. This is where a lot of us Nigerians lose money from. Store management. We lose a lot of cash from store management. Last week, we spoke with an Indian firm at the Nungu Business School. And part of the experience they shared with us is that there are two areas they don't play with. One is the area where they have to receive their cash. And the second area is their storeroom management. That those two places are big holes and they have to cover it properly. And when you look at them, by and large, their businesses that they've done in Nigeria, largely they've been successful because they've learned to manage these two holes properly. And we also need to do the same thing. We need to manage our storeroom properly. So step 3 is for us to do creditors management, find reliable and competitive price suppliers. Let's look for people who can supply us, negotiate clear, written agreement from the outset, communicate with the supplier properly, improve system for paying the suppliers. When supplier says you should bring cash for them, somebody is writing on my slide. Please, somebody is writing on my slide. Please stop it. Okay, so keep the record properly, okay? And that is very, very important. And when we pay our suppliers, we should make sure that we have an agreed way of paying these suppliers, and we should use that agreed way of paying our suppliers. Payment of outstanding salaries, wages, and expenses. Now, at this particular moment, these are areas where we need to look at clearly. We need to look at it clearly. Muhammad was sharing with us earlier on about organizations that have done staff review, organizations that are looking at closing down outlets. If our own business is still running fine, we need to look at the payment and what we're paying in terms of salary and wages and expenses, and look at it to say, okay, what do we need to manage properly to keep us afloat? Payment of outstanding dues and taxes. We need to look at this. If we need to get the service of expert to sit down with the authority and discuss with them, so be it. And when we pay back our loans, we need to make sure that the investment, we're doing it properly so that we are having access to more money that we can use. Okay, so in conclusion, from all the above discussion, we can conclude that working capital management is one of the trending contemporary issues which the business enterprise and organization are facing nowadays. So they should apply the working capital techniques and prepare smart plan for procurement of working capital for growth, profitability, and the ultimate success of their businesses. This is a period like no any other time where we must focus on our working capital management. The Jaiz Bank PLC noted this. They saw a challenge in this. The Nungu Business School also noted this challenge in this. We think we should discuss all of this with the SMEs such that together we are being on the same plate and look at our working capital management together. With this, I'll drop. Thank you very much and good afternoon. So we'll take discussion now from, we'll take questions. I'm sure our teacher is helping us to collate those questions. She'll share it with us and we'll take the question. While we're doing that, we'll allow Jaiz to come back with us and give their address, please. Jaiz, over to you. Can you unmute Brother Ali, please, so that he can take the presentation from Jaiz? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. And good morning, all. Hello, can you all hear me?
We can hear you clearly and sound, brother. Go ahead, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Firstly, let me welcome all the participants on behalf of the management of Jaiz Bank to this, our August event, which is the World MSME Day. No doubt you will agree with me that micro, small, and medium enterprises are really contributing beyond what we can analyze on this discussion. And it is in view of that the United Nations now put up this day so that this effort will be celebrated and they will be appreciated. Jaiz Bank on its own part, realizing the value addition of small and medium enterprises, was not left out in contributing in its way towards the development of SMEs. In view of that, I want to briefly give a background about Jaiz Bank and also where we are today as far as MSME financing is concerned, and how the participants and other members of the public can utilize the opportunity. Jaiz Bank happens to be the pioneer non-interest financial institution that was licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to start the model of non-interest financing under the Islamic finance principle, 11th November 2011. And it opened its doors for business activities in January 2012. To date, Jaiz Bank is having about 8 years in operations and with about 40 branches. It started at a regional bank with just about 3 branches then, and today it has a national license with virtually representation in all the regions of the country. This is a feat that we must appreciate that has been achieved, though we cannot rule out with so many challenges and difficulties. However, as Allah will do it, Jaiz Bank was able to navigate, and as the MD has mentioned in one of his presentations to the media, we are declaring dividend for the first time since it started operation. Though there has been some effort in the past to see that this has been done, but due to some regulatory considerations and concerns, that has been held on until now. And it is important also to mention here now that Jaiz Bank has the world record of being one of the first Islamic financial institutions that had its break even within the first 5 years of its operation. These are some achievements that we are all part of it, and we have contributed in one way or the other towards making it a success. A lot of effort is being put in place to see how this can be improved and enhanced so that MSMEs can benefit more from what Jaiz Bank is doing. Of course, for businesses and MSMEs, they have 3 major issues. One, issues of access to finance. This is really something that is very key, and a lot of MSMEs are where they are today, either because they are not being able to access finance or they are unable to upscale their activities to expand what they are doing. Then secondly, the cost of finance. In as much as getting access to finance is key, but the cost to the business is another key important, because even if you have access to it, and then at the end of the day, the cost of acquiring or securing that finance is virtually going down with your profit, then it will end up you not being able to make any good for yourself. So in view of that, our model of financing is more of a partnership activity. Under the Islamic finance principles, we have the Mudaraba, Musharaka, Murabaha, and all others. However, we've been able to select some few ones that we know will really be very beneficial, mutually beneficial to both the bank and the MSME customers. So majorly, we deploy Murabaha, which is cost plus, and Ijara, which is lease to own, in financing our MSME customers. This is not to say that the other instruments cannot be deployed. However, after carefully reviewing your business, assessing your cash flow and business activities, that will guide us on the best instrument to deploy for your financing. So, and in the past 1 year, it's important also to mention Jaiz Bank has taken it upon itself to engage several development finance institutions like the Bank of Industry, Central Bank of Nigeria, Islamic Development Bank, Jeddah, Development Bank of Nigeria, and many other development finance institutions in trying to see how we could partner and really support MSMEs, more especially those that are very much keen on non-interest financing, or those that, even though the Sharia compliance is not an issue to them, but then they are very much concerned about ethical finance. So in view of that, we secured a 3 billion on-lending partnership with financing with BOI in 2019. And Alhamdulillah, before the end of the year, we are able to disburse those funds. Not only that, today we have disbursed over 7 billion to micro, small, and medium enterprises. For us to be able to really impact on MSMEs, we were able to put the following conditions and criteria so that it will make it easier, simpler, and very accessible to MSMEs. The first thing we did was to now peg it to have a cap. So that means the minimum within the range is 100,000 and the maximum is 20 million. So that means this 7 billion was disbursed to over 4,000 MSMEs with less than 20 million disbursement financing. So, and for those that are below the 100,000 ceiling, we've been able to come up with another model that will be able to attend to them, which is under our financial inclusion strategy that we call Jaiz Agent Network Manager. We deployed that strategy in a bid to see that those that may be interested in accessing from 10,000, 20,000 to 50,000 or thereabout are not cut out, but then they have been saved the processes of going to open a full stream tiered account, a current account, and also filling forms and various documentations. So through the agency network manager in a particular location that we are able to identify, we are able to finance businesses at the financial inclusion level. So now for micro, small, and medium enterprises, basically what we are looking at is, one, the business should be in existence for at least an average of 1 year. It should have a good cash flow and turnover. Then the business should be registered, but this is optional. It's not a must. Then, of course, having a bank account with the bank is mandatory. Then we require that you run this bank account for an average of 3 months for us to be able to access your business within this period and be able to come to your aid in terms of your financing need. So once I meet these conditions, then what are the eligibility criteria? The eligibility criteria is that the items or product to be financed must relate to the core business of the customer. Then there should be satisfactory profitability history. Business must have spent a minimum of 6 months in a licensed, registered, or approved business premises. The basic thing here is that there must be an identified location, whether it is your house, it is your shop, or any other place that you've been allowed. Of course, for some businesses, like pharmaceuticals, health, and other related, some businesses will require that you have a license for you to operate. So in this situation, we will require to have a license that you've been permitted to operate that type of business. Some businesses will require you to have some membership of certain relevant associations or cooperatives or unions, as the case may be. Then, of course, we'll require to see some verifiable existing credible customer base, then reliable financial bank statement or records. Because we've seen businesses that have come to us, they've never opened bank account, but they have been doing very well. So in that situation, we will take it that we'll take the informal record that they have and be able to attend to their requests. Then, of course, there's the credit report. Of course, they in line with the new guidelines of advancing financing, you are required to conduct credit search on the promoters of business or directors of business, and for you to be able to be sure that what the business you are financing is not indebted in any way. Then, having met this requirement, what are the basic application requirements for me to be able to access finance with Jaiz Bank? Firstly, we have the MSME customer application form, which you will be required to fill. Then we will require a brief profile of the business and the owners. These are just for our documentation purposes, for us to be able to say, yes, these are the owners of this business, and this is how business was established. This is where it is today, and this is how far it has come and where it's going. Then we require an average of 6 to 12 months bank statement where available. Then current certificate, license, permit, or membership, as the case may be. Cash flow projection, historical of what I've been doing or the MSME has been doing in the past 1 year, and then of course for those that will be able to, yes, and for those that will be able to, that will be required to, for us to have a clear direction on the cash flow and activity of the business. Then of course the payment plan. All this can be done within 2 or 3 pages. We're okay with that. We don't require you to go and do sophisticated or complicated business profiles. These are things that you can sit down, personally document them, and we are very much okay. We allowed it this way so that we don't have to put people into unnecessary stress of requiring them going to meet consultants to be able to meet with some certain conditions and what have you. For us to be able to do this, we try to make it in such a way that we treat each customer independently to be able to give everybody a fair dealing. So if you come here, the professional with all your papers full documented, we attend to you. And if you come, you don't have anything, we guide you on how to go about that. So it's important to mention here, not only the financial aspect, we also look at other non-financial advices to MSMEs in terms of how you do your advert, your marketing, and other related activities that will really help you in your businesses. More so with this COVID challenge, we are also looking at how we can really support MSMEs so that they will be able to, notwithstanding the challenge from the experience from what we have seen regarding the lockdown, the curfews, just like what the other presenters have mentioned, we are planning to also have another session for how you will be able to maximize the online space for your businesses. So let me just at this point forward this invitation to the participants regarding the next week's session for why your business should be online, which will be conducted by the digital marketing team of the bank. They will be able to take us through how we will be able to have presence online so that our businesses will maximize these opportunities and also reduce the loss and challenges that will be faced with within the in view of such challenges, either while we are still on it and even in the future. So lastly, it's important also to mention here, for us to be able to do that, we categorize SMEs into three. The first category is the businesses that will come for 100,000 to 2 million. Prior to now, every facility request comes to the head office, but in view of the situation, we now made it that from our branches, the branch managers were given the mandate to review and access and process requests for SMEs from 100,000 to 2 million without any recourse to the head office. So this has really helped in attending to SMEs requests, and the turnaround time for this to be done is a maximum of 5 working days. So once you are able to really meet all the requirements and conditions within 5 working days, your business will be supported with your financial needs as it requires. Then the second stage is the 2 million to 5 million, which is being concluded at the regional level and the disbursement committee of the bank. This also has been done to help simplify the process so that the long process of going into investment committee, getting approvals from top management and what have you, have been curtailed, has been cut off. So now in 2 to 3 weeks, you are short of securing that. Then of course, the last one, which is the 5 million to 20 million. In all this, it's important to mention here that for the 2 million facility and below, all you need is 2 guarantors. That's just the basic thing. And then of course, some few documentations. Then for the 2 to 5 million, we will require either if we are buying equipment for you, the equipment serves as the collateral, or we require movable assets that we can register on the National Collateral Registry. So these are all part of effort to see that you don't need anything C of O. Ordinarily, you are required to have a C of O for any facility above a certain threshold as outlined by the central bank. But with the National Collateral Registry, that has allowed us to be able to now take movable assets, your cars, your equipment, and other related assets or equipment in that regard. Then, of course, there are so many other things that it's on a need basis. By the time you go to our branches are well positioned to be able to attend to your request. It's important here to mention before I round up that we don't give cash. Okay, then also you can also go to our website. You'll be able to get a lot of information on how to locate either our branches or some of our officers that you will need to interface with. We don't give cash and we don't give loan. We only finance business and then we share the profit. So this is basically, I think, what I will share with us on this very important day for all of us. Thank you very much. Dr. Jibril.
Thank you very much, Madam Ali Bahari, for this wonderful insight. I so much love it, and I congratulate you for providing this wonderful speech. I was listening to you and looking at the question box, and you kind of like reading the question box to answer everything, every question that's come in onto the question box. You have just nailed it on the head. So please, for people who need additional information, go to the nearest Jaiz Bank that is close to you, or go online and contact them, and they will provide you as much information as you require for you to be able to move your business further. I will wait for us if there are answers to hear. If there are none, then we will bring this meeting to a close. Our plan is to bring this meeting to a close at 12 o'clock. It's 12:01. In another 1 minute, we'll bring this meeting to a close, God willing. Okay, so the question is from Dr. Ahmed Abubakar. Is saying that if you share profit or loss, why then are you taking movable assets as collateral? The fact that you take, the fact that you offered mudaraba or musharaka in financing, it doesn't prevent you from taking collateral. The laws in the Sharia allow you to do that properly. So that, I mean, that's straightforward. It said, please provide online MSME guidelines and requirements. Okay, so please, whatever the requirement is for MSME, we will employ that you put it somewhere on your website so that MSME can have access to it. Thank you, Abdullah Musa. Engineer Abdullah Musa. Thank you. Sorry, how can I get some non-interest loan? You've heard it from the presenter. They're going into investment, they don't go into loan. He said it here. The presenter also said it here. He said if you meet all the requirements, the turnaround time is 5 days. But make sure you have done your own part of the job. Somebody's asking here, and I think this for you, Brother Babangida, is Brother Ali saying, if he has a corporate account with another bank, can he use the account, the balance he had, the statement documentation he has in another bank that he has operated, can he bring it to Jaiz for him to be able to cut off the 6-month period? Please.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Once again, I've mentioned earlier that even if you don't have any bank account with any financial institution, we can take your informal records to attend to you. So we have made it as easy as possible. Ordinarily, I saw someone asking that you have to operate account for 6 months. It's important also to mention here that yes, the standard banking practice for you to access the financing after opening a bank account is 6 months. However, for MSMEs, we have made it 3 months. And in fact, in some peculiar situations, we may even waive that based on the situation on ground. So what I will just advise is, of course, go to our website, look for the brand that is our brand that is closer to you. You will get better details on our MSMEs. We've tried to do a lot of work around this to be able to see how we can be able to finance as much as we can. This financing is on, and we're still talking to other development finance institutions, including the central bank and other related agencies, so that we can have as many funds so that most of our people that are unable to access all these intervention funds via the interest-based options will now have an option for themselves. The basic thing is you have to do your bit by firstly opening the account. You can't keep waiting until when all these funds are available and then you start running helter-skelter. We try as much as possible to be due diligent in our account opening process, unlike what is obtained elsewhere. So we make sure we comply with all regulations of central bank. So your BVN, your means of ID, your utility bill, all these requirements, you have to make sure that they are intact and they are in line with the regulations before we open an account, because we are an ethical institution and we wouldn't want the central bank in any way to find us one thing in this regard. So what I will advise is you, from now, after this meeting, you start making arrangements to see how to reach out to the nearest branch to you, so that you will be able to start the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, that's the framework that Nungu is presenting for SME in terms of to our client. Will the school be conducting a session in the near future to help understand it, since the presenter has given us a snapshot? Yes, Dr. Muhammad presented it. He's actually an economist. His PhD is in this regard, and he has done extensive work on this, and he will be presenting this in the near future for a course that we'll be calling people on, inshallah. All right. The question keeps tripping in, so we will collate the questions. The ones we cannot answer, we'll still send it back to Jaiz. And we will expect that when they get the answer, all the people who have registered will be able to blast the answer back to you. We want to thank you most sincerely, every SME that has been present coming in here this morning up until this afternoon to participate in this program. We thank you most sincerely for your time, for your understanding. We started with a few technical issues. We're able to get over each. We thank you for your time. We thank you for all the questions, for all the comments, and for all the suggestions. On behalf of Jaiz Bank PLC and the Nungu Business School, my name is Jibril Salahuddin, and I'm the anchor of today's program. Thank you, and see you again when we have. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.